Did I mention hand sanitizer works really well to take off tree sap? So this hood was covered in tree sap and I was scraping it and picking it off with my fingernail, even using a little plastic trim tool. But hand sanitizer, you just put a little dab on there and wipe it off and it comes right off. Okay, so I was impatient and I did a test panel. Test panel meaning I clay barred this fender. Look at that. Damn, you can see all the orange peel from the OEM paint job. So with this fender, I did iron decontamination and then I clay barred it. We buffed it with compound and then we polished it to finish it off. So just so you can see the difference, so I did this headlight. This is kind of just like a quick buff and polish. And then you can see the hood with all the contamination. Big difference in the shine. And then here's another angle of the hood. You can see this is done and this is not. So for products, I bought a gallon of this stuff because it was cheap and it came with a lot. This gallon was like 26 bucks on Amazon. With the iron decontamination, I'm using these little sponges, clay bar sponges, to scrub the paint. After that's done, I'm taking this clay, actual clay, and I'm going over everything. Once that's done, I take this heavy cut compound, I cut it with a cutting pad. Then after, I polish it with this polishing compound with the various proper foam pads. So I even did this eyelid, which came out a little better than before. I'm just gonna do this panel, this side, because it's out of the sun and I still have some tree sap on the other side. Supposed to let this set for like 5 minutes. There. Not sure how to get that off or replace that, but I would like to. The guy uses this iron decontamination as actual lubrication for the clay. This is what I use to clean the silica. And I have this heavy cut compound with an orange pad. Alright, front fender, you can't really see the sheen until you look to the side, and that's when you can really see it. A little bit of chips and scratches here, but I'm okay with that. So next step is to buff this thing. Other side for comparison, a little bit of a sheen, but no gloss compared to this. Okay, so I'm planning on changing the fuel pump on this car because it takes a couple cranks for it to start. So we got a fuel pump to change, which it's right there. Okay, so another Rock Auto order. Literally, not sure how much maintenance I'm gonna do to this car, but the transmission gasket and filter was literally $5. Bomba de combustible, this was like 15 bucks. That looks about right. Mechanical fuel pump. Thermosistor for the Celica because the blower doesn't work. Couldn't find a replacement, but this is off the truck, the Toyota truck, and this should work. These are heater hoses for the 86. Obviously, I don't even have a heater core because that thing's broken, but so it should be in by just like 2 12 mils, and there should be a spacer. That's why we got 2 of these. It's OEM, still clean. So whoever had this car, they were taking care of it. Man, can you believe this car made it 700 miles from Oregon? Okay. Forget how easy it is to work on this car. Hoping this statement does not mess me up later. Let's take out this heater valve. There we go. Okay. Clean enough for me. I'm sure this heater hose is supposed to go to this connection that's broken. This bottom one's supposed to connect up here. We're essentially bypassing it. You can see how this hose is kind of kinked. We're just waiting for this hose to fail because it's probably OEM. Shout out if you have a heater core. Let's get a normal gasket. Get our spacer doodad. Okay, foods. So the previous problem I had was I would let it sit, crank it, it would start up and die. Start up and die. Then crank, 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 crank. So I'm assuming it started up with whatever fuel was left in the bowl, and hopefully, or I'm thinking there was air in the line, so it takes a couple cranks to prime that line to get the fuel back into the carburetor. So it's probably gonna do that now, so we're just gonna get it up and running and let it sit for a couple hours and see if it starts right up. Okay, well, make sure pump lever is properly aligned on cam actuator or pump damage may occur. It may be necessary to rotate the engine. Definitely sitting on the cam. I'm just gonna say I have a massive air bubble, so I'm just gonna get a vacuum and essentially suck up the fuel from the fuel filter to the carburetor. Also, if you guys haven't done so, buy a sticker.